This is my real Nintendo Switch thumbstick mod. It's a proper, what they call 3D thumbstick. It's an actual Nintendo Switch rocking thumbstick, unlike the PSP's sliding disc of death. So ignore how rough the shell is. I mean, as you can see, there's like dents there and cracks and screws missing. In fact, I think there's only about 2 or 3 screws holding the whole thing together. But the point in this was just to literally carve out bits of plastic, drill the holes, just get this thing working and functional, and thankfully it works really good. With that said though, there are a couple of things to note. So one thing that could be a little bit annoying is just how far the thumbstick protrudes and how close it is to the D-pad. What that means is that if you try and press the down arrow, it does mean that the thumbstick is a little bit in the way. You can still reach it just fine, but it is, something just to be aware of. What I do to get around this though is literally just use the JoySense plugin, so I can use the thumbstick to control the XMB. But anyway, who cares about that? Let's be honest, if you're installing the Switch thumbstick, you're probably not going to be using the D-pad much anyway, and honestly, it is still perfectly functional. One thing that might concern you is the fact that we're using a Nintendo Switch thumbstick, and the Nintendo Switch thumbsticks are known for their drifting issues, so that's where it registers that it's being pressed in a direction when it isn't. Because this is a Switch stick, there is the potential for that to happen somewhere down the line, but there is a way to resolve it should it happen. What you need to do is install the Macrofire plugin, get it enabled. Once it's enabled, we can open up the menu by hitting the volume down and up buttons. Make sure it's enabled in the actual program itself. Once we've done that, we want to go down to the analog stick sensitivity adjustment option. And once we go into there, we have a few different options we can select from. Down here, we can see what movement is being registered. So anything inside that red circle isn't going to translate into any movement. So the console won't register that the stick is being pressed up until we get outside of that red circle. Let's just say the stick is drifting really far down to the left. What you could do is either increase the dead zone radius, or you could even just change the coordinate of the actual dead zone itself. So we could move it, let's say, left a little bit, and also move it, down a little bit as well, just to compensate for that drift. So yeah, there are a couple of things that you can do should you have drift with the Switch stick. The Switch thumbstick does actually have a clickable L3 button, but I haven't actually hooked it up to anything yet because I couldn't decide whether I wanted it to be the sort of select button for jump on Medal of Honor heroes, or maybe the X button or something. So for now I've just left that disconnected, but definitely in the future that is something that I could hook up to, literally any button I wanted. So on to some games next. I'll have a little look through the list and start up a game or two. Because this is a revisit of an old mod, there is also another thing that I forgot, which is that this PSP doesn't have any speakers at all. So any gameplay audio that you do hear is going to be coming through earphones that are sat next to the phone's mic, so apologies for that in advance. But regardless, the Switch thumbstick, it does work very well in game. You have a full range of motion. You have the sensitivity as well, so you can press it slightly and it moves, or you can press it all the way and it moves further. If I jump off the bike here as well, you see that I have the full range of motion. And there we go, and I'll do some slow walking and then pick up the pace a bit just by moving the stick. So yeah, it's fully functional and works really well. So, that concludes the Nintendo Switch Thumbstick mod for now, and I hope you've enjoyed the video.